Hey everybody, how's everybody doing tonight? We're gonna hang out here and see who decides to join me. I logged on a few minutes early just because I kind of figured I would answer any questions if anybody logs on early. Yeah, that's pretty dry, isn't it? So anyway, we're just gonna wait and see if anybody logs on, and if nobody logs on, then I'll go ahead and do the video anyway. But I'm really excited to show you guys. You can see my spots going on over here, and you can see my stripes going on over here. I'm so excited about this whole thing. I hope the live video actually works. It's been forever since I've done a live video, so I'm not really sure if it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. I hope it does. Nothing on the cup, but we all knew that. If you're watching the video, you know what Senegence does. You know what Lipsense is all about. But oh, by the way, I'm not wearing Blackberry. The smear-proof black, that's Onyx ShadowSense. So no, I'm not wearing Blackberry. Is this actually working? Because I don't see anybody, so maybe I'm going to turn it off and try again, because I don't know if it's actually working. Kind of technology illiterate occasionally, so anybody there? See if I can invite some friends. See if anybody wants to come check me out, because we're going to go live and we're going to talk all about this wonderful Senegence products, both the skincare line as well as the makeup line, obviously. But the skincare line is one of my favorite things that Senegence does, because I always had really bad dry skin, really oily patches that break out, but more often than not, really bad dry skin to where I had flaky nose on a regular basis, which is gross, but what can you do about it, right? What we do about it is very, 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 very simple. I haven't even started using the full line of Senegence skincare. I got hooked on the Silk moisturizer and pore and wrinkle minimizer. It's absolutely one of my favorite things that Senegence makes. It is, I don't know if you can see it with that light shining so bright. It gives you such a nice, clean, smooth finish for when you're going to be applying makeup on top of it all over the place. So I always start with my Silk, because my Silk is amazing. I always start with my Silk. Hi Amanda, how are you? I just logged on a few minutes early just to start talking, because I wanted to make sure this was working. So I just started talking about what I use underneath anything else that I'm going to put on. So we were talking about the Silk, which is the pore and wrinkle minimizer, and it gives you a really solid base. It gives you a smooth finish without having the bumps and wrinkles and things like that. And you can see I'm touching my face. My makeup isn't going anywhere. None of the stripes are smearing. I'm touching it. It's not really going, well, I may not have let it dry all the way, but it's not really going anywhere once it dries. So anyway, I always start with the Silk all over, let it dry. Then I go to my color correcting moisturizer. Love this. You can see where I have a little bit of red here. It shows up. If I'm not wearing anything at all, that is a very, very dark red scar. So I just take my brush, a little bit on my brush, and it blends in very nicely where it needs to blend in, and it mixes in and smooths over without any issue. Get the red off your nose. And unlike a powder or something like that that's trying to smooth over the raw spots, it doesn't leave any cracked or wrinkled spots behind. It is a moisturizer. It just happens to have a tint to it to help smooth everything in. I use the light. I do have both the medium and the light in stock. These are $45 a piece, but they are worth every penny of it. You can see just at the very, very bottom. Hi, Mary, how are you? At the very, very bottom where I've started using it, you can see how the pump is going up. There's not a straw in here pulling it up. This is an unopened bottle. You see how it's all the way at the bottom? It pushes up from the bottom, which means you're going to use every bit of that $45 worth of product. Every bit of it. It's just going to push up like a toothpaste tube. So you get to use all of it. Same thing with the silk. It pushes up from the bottom. So you're going to get to use every piece of product that you're buying. So it's not wasting your money. So we talked about the fact that I use the silk as the foundation. We talked about the fact that I always use my color correcting tinted moisturizer. Always. I do use the light color. I am fair skinned. And I use it all over. Now when I'm doing the spots and stripes like this, I don't use it in those locations. This is not completely smudge proof. It will rub off. If you use the foundation, it will not. This one will rub off just a little bit, but not too much. So these areas where I'm going to be putting the ShadowSense and stuff on, I don't put any moisturizer on. I just use the silk underneath it. Okay, so let's talk about what I'm actually wearing. Hi, Mary. So let's talk about what I'm actually wearing. We know that Blackberry Lipsense is a unicorn. It is one of the hardest to get colors out there right now. Well, guess what? I do own a tube. It's something I bought a long time ago, and it is mine, and I don't have any for sale. Guess what? I'm not wearing it. What you see on my lips right now, not smearing, not coming off. Coffee cup. Not on my coffee cup. It's ShadowSense. This is Onyx. Hi Jessica, how you doing? This is Onyx ShadowSense that I've put on my lips, and it stays. It's not going anywhere. It's not rubbing off. You just saw my coffee cup. It's Onyx. It's the shadow. Okay? This is eyeshadow. You can wear any eyeshadow on your lips. Let's take it one step further. We know that eyeshadow goes on your lips. We've talked about this before. Hey, Mary. Maggie, how you doing? We've talked about this before. Underneath the spots over here, you see that little bit of a red tint, that little bit of an orange tint. Guess what? That's Lipsense. That is Fire and Ice and Apple Cider. I took the Fire and Ice, and what you're going to see me do here, FYI, just when I'm looking down, I've got a little mirror that I'm looking down at to help me put things on. So what you're seeing down there, over here, this shading, this red color underneath the spots, that's Lipsense. I'm going to put a little bit more on over here. Now remember when you're putting it on your eyes, that there is alcohol in it. It will burn your eyes, so be very careful. So I'm putting it on. You can use it as blush or whatever. I went behind that. That was the Fire and Ice, by the way, which I do have in stock. You can buy Fire and Ice for 25 bucks. If I need to mail it, it's going to be 27 even. No tax or anything, just 27 for the mailing. That is not my apple cider. That's a pomegranate. Always shake your Lipsense. So what we're doing here is I'm putting the apple cider on top of, to blend it in just a little bit more into my natural skin tone. And you see it blends in. This is how all of this red under there got there. It got there with Lipsense. Once Lipsense dries, what does it do? It stays put. So up here, check it out, people, spots. They're not rubbing off. They're not smearing into each other. They're not heavy. They're just going to stay put. So How do I get the spots themselves? The spots themselves, I take a piece of paper. I print out a stencil. Kind of neat, huh? It's cheap, it's easy. I print out a stencil. I take a $10 X-Acto knife and I cut out the spots I want to use. FYI, always put your X-Acto knife back in its case. You don't want to accidentally get hurt. Hi, Nikki. So I get a stencil. That's all I do. I get a brush. And these particular spots are done in Garnet. Garnet ShadowSense on top of the Lipsense, people. Yes, Jessica, very crafty. It actually works out really great. X-Acto knives are one of the most amazing things out there. I take my brush, just a little bit on the ShadowSense, just a little bit. You don't want to overdo it because Garnet is actually very, very dark. Now again, I've got this little mirror down here that I'm going to be using because it's easier to see than in the phone. I put my stencil on. And I brush in my spots. And oh, yeah, spots, people. Hey, Christy, how you doing? Spots. Again, this is eyeshadow. The same eyeshadow that I'm going to put up here to make it stay all day when I'm at work just made spots on my cheek. Kind of cool, huh? So anyway, I'm going to let that dry for a couple of minutes because it is a little thicker and a little darker than what you'd actually put on your eyes. ShadowSense is a cream to powder, which means you gotta let it dry if you want to get that all day smudge proof. All up here has been dry for about an hour. You can see it's not smudging, it's not rubbing off. It's not going anywhere. Yes, Amanda, it's absolutely awesome. No, I didn't draw them. I'm not that good free-handed. I use a stencil. Same thing with the stripes over here. I have a handy dandy little stencil that I use. If you can freehand it, be my guest. I am not that clever. My best friend Sarah, on the other hand, when we actually go to cosplay conventions, Sarah does the freehand work for me, and she's amazing at artist. But she doesn't like to wear the costumes, so she just does my face and stuff. How do I get it off at the end of the day? That's an easy one, honey. You see this stuff? This is Fuchs Remover. It's $20 a bottle. I've had this bottle since February. So it lasts a long, long time. So I'm going to show you how I get it off, which unfortunately means I have to ruin one of my stripes, but that's okay. Cotton ball. Fuchs Remover. It's a little blue. You know you've got enough on there if you've got a little blue dot. Let's pick a spot. Let's pick this spot up here. See if I can see around everything. Spot's gone. Spot's gone. Now you can get in the shower and scrub it off with your normal face scrub. I don't recommend it because you're going to scrub your face raw. You're going to scrub your face raw. ShadowSenses, by the way, I showed you the Garnet when I was putting on that other spot. ShadowSenses are $22, so they're $25 shipped. It's $2 flat, $24 shipped because it's $2 flat shipping. So it's $27 for the Lipsense, which is what I did the red colorations with. It is $22 for the ShadowSense, which is this little guy right here. And again, I did this in Garnet. The spot down here, you watched me paint it on. Any questions outside of what you've already asked, or do I want to go with the type? Oh, no, we missed a spot on the spots. We were letting it dry. This is Candlelight. Candlelight's another ShadowSense, and again, one of my all-time favorites. Candlelight acts as an amazing concealer. What you see here, this little bit of a red scarring that I've got, it's kind of a birth thing. Go into details if anybody actually asks. I use Candlelight as a, okay, you can't actually see what I'm doing down here, so I'm going to show you. I have a napkin that I'm just rubbing my brush on to kind of clean it between shadows so that I'm not getting them mixed up on each other too much. So I take my Candlelight on my brush and it acts as a concealer. So going to work on my everyday type thing, when I'm not actually wearing spots and stripes, Candlelight is my concealer. So on top of my color tinting moisturizer, any of those spots that aren't quite as concealed, it's a great place to do it. It also works as a highlighter just under your brow to kind of define your brows. I didn't define mine today because I kind of have stripes going through them. But that's what's going on there. Now for the spots over here, you can see there's a creamy dot inside of each little spot over here, right? What I did is I took my ShadowSense and a little tiny brush, and again, I'm going to go to my other mirror to where I can actually see what I'm doing. And I dotted it on. You see how that's dotted in there? That gives you that creamy spot in the middle of the leopard spot, in the middle of the rosette, I don't know how you say that, but that's okay. So yeah, you got a little leopard spot going on. It's kind of cool, huh? And I just showed you, it comes off easy peasy, really sweet coming off. So okay, let's talk about the tiger stripes. Again, Candlelight, $22, amazing stuff. Like I said, I use it for everything from concealers to highlighters. You can use highlighters over here. Jessica, how do you apply ShadowSense as ShadowSense? Is it liquid or powder? It's a cream. What you see in the tube here is not a liquid. It's not like Lipsense. It looks like the same tube, but it's not. It's actually a creamy base. I'm going to hold my finger up in the back of my hand so you can see. It's actually a creamy base to where when you put it on, it's actually a cream. And it goes to a powder as it dries. Let me get a darker one. Maybe you can see a little bit better. Let's grab that garnet that I had a minute ago. You see me rubbing the tube because I really don't want to take too much out of the tube that I don't actually need. So I kind of scrape it on the inside of the edge of the tube just to kind of keep it in there. So anyway, just like that. You get a couple of minutes of it still being a cream to blend and mix and get it just where you want it. And once it dries, about 5 minutes or so, it's stuck. Until you take it off, it's not going anywhere. Do I use a brush or the applicator that it comes with? Typically I use a brush or my finger, just like I did on the back of my hand. If I'm just putting a little bit for that V on the corner of my eyes, what I'll do is I'll take, let's mess up some stripes, shall we? What I'll do is I'll take, and just put it at the corner in a little dot, right? And then I use my finger to put it where I want it to go. Obviously I'm not doing a great job here because I'm trying to see it in my phone instead of my mirror, but I just kind of blend it with my finger most of the time. If I'm trying to get a more detailed up and around the brow and all, I use a little brush because the little brush gives me more detail and I can actually define how much I'm going to put on at that point instead of overly getting too much in one corner or not. I don't wear eyeliner, by the way. You'll notice I am, there's a nice little black line going on under there, but it's not technically eyeliner. It's going right back to that Onyx ShadowSense. ShadowSense as eyeliner. I have a little tiny eyeliner brush, which is, you can see how it's bent at the tip, which makes for applying as eyeliner really, really easy. Again, real gentle on the tip of the brush, just the tip. And I am going to go back to the mirror for this one just because it's my eyeball. And you very gently run it under where you want it to go. Now remember, it is a cream to a powder, so if I touched it right now, that's going to smear all over the place until you give it about 5 minutes or so. And again, I use handy dandy little brush going on. So my Onyx ShadowSense, this will last me probably 8 months or more. One little tube of ShadowSense, and it's $22. So I use it for an eyeliner. I use it for all sorts of other stuff. Again, Onyx ShadowSense is what's on my lips. Not going anywhere. Back to my coffee cup. Which, by the way, is lemonade, not coffee this time of night. But I didn't buy the Blackberry Lipsense. I'm not spending $100 on a tube of Lipsense. Not if I don't have to. And I don't, because I can use ShadowSense. One tube of Onyx does my eyes, does my lips, does, well, actually it's Garnet over here. It's Onyx over here. But it does everything. Now, except for the lashes. And there it is. This is LashSense. Mascara that doesn't run. I don't care if you go to a funeral. I don't care if you go to a movie and laugh your ass off. Do you use gloss when you use ShadowSense on your lips? I don't use glossy gloss. The shine and the shimmer and the glossy gloss has a tendency to make the ShadowSense stick to other things. I do use a matte gloss, but it also doesn't have any alcohol in it. So the ShadowSense doesn't dry your lips. It doesn't dry your lips because there's no alcohol in it. You get a little bit of a powdery feel to your lips, but that's about it. It does taste a little funny once in a while, but that's right after you put it on. After that, it's not that big a deal. I do use the matte gloss, like I said, but I don't use glossy gloss because I have found that the shea butter in the glossy gloss, it melts or something, the ShadowSense. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it will come off with the glossy gloss onto my coffee cup and everything else. Matte gloss does not. So if you wanted a shiny look, I would probably suggest putting the ShadowSense on, giving it a good hour to dry completely from cream to powder, and then using Icicle Lipsense. Icicle is the same as every other Lipsense, except for it's clear. And it'll seal the shadow in, and then you can put the shinier glosses on top of the Icicle. I didn't do that tonight because I wasn't worried about the shiny look. But you can use the Icicle, which is just a clear lip color. It's the same thing as Fire and Ice, except for it doesn't have pigment in it. It's got the same alcohol, the same sun protection. You just put the Icicle on top and you run with it. And yes, it's genius and it's a really good idea. It works really well. Back to the LashSense, which is $25 again, like the Lipsense. Mascara doesn't go anywhere. I've had the same mascara on since this morning. I didn't take it off after I got home from work. It's the same mascara since this morning. It's gonna come off with this, the same way the rest of the ShadowSense is gonna come off. Your Lipsense comes off with the Oops remover that comes with the starter kit for your Lipsense. What I have learned about the LashSense though, because I never really wore makeup a whole lot before I started getting into this stuff, because it actually stays put, is when you go to put it on, you really need to roll it on a napkin first to get any excess off, so that when you put it on, you're not getting clumps that are sticking to your makeup on top. I mean, you already finished your eyes and stuff. You don't want this extra stuff sticking around, right? So I use the brown. You can see how dark it is. I haven't even opened a black for myself because honestly, I don't think I need it. I really just don't think I need the black going on. It's dark enough as it is with the brown. So, Onyx, Brown LashSense, Fire and Ice, Apple Cider for the underneath color. We've got the Garnet ShadowSense for the spots. We've got Candlelight for the interior of the spots. Oh, by the way, you watched me put this on a few minutes ago, right? You think it's dry? It might be. Let's check it out. Clean napkin. Hee. And we just put that on. So about 10 minutes, and your spots are dry to the touch. Kind of cool, huh? Okay, so move to the tiger stripes. You watched me use the stencils already. The base of the tiger stripe is not Lipsense. I actually used the garnet. The same thing we used on the spots over here actually was brushed on for the underneath side of all of this. A friend of mine told me it was mostly camouflaged. It didn't actually look like tiger stripes. I probably should have used something more orange, maybe a pomegranate, or pomegranate probably would have given me a more orange color. This is Lipsense, $25. Would have probably given me a more orange color underneath these stripes. I didn't. I used the garnet because I thought maybe the red would be better, but it looks more brown. Before I put the stripes on, my husband's like, I'm going to jail. It looks like I beat you, because without the stripes, it looks like a big old bruise on the side of my face. But again, with the stencils, you just place it on where you want. Now with the stencils, what I found, because they are paper and Lipsense 08 is waterproof, what I've done is I've got a paper towel here that's damp. So what I do is I take the paper, and I'm going to get, the stripes are done in onyx, by the way. I love my onyx ShadowSense. I do almost everything with onyx. It's just a really good, versatile black. So I just push down my stencil on that damp paper towel to get the stencil just a little bit damp. That way when I put it on, the stencil stays put just a little bit better. I'm going to go back to my mirror down here so that I can actually see what I'm doing a little bit better. Get my onyx. There goes my stencil. Onyx. Stripes. It's just a very small little stencil right now. If I was going to do a large project, I'd probably do a stencil in a different format besides paper, but it actually works pretty well. See? Look. Now, there again, if I wanted to accent that just a little bit, I can go back to my candlelight. And I can accent that stripe just a little bit. If you're pretty good freehand, you can pretty much do anything you want. So we have garnet, onyx eyeliner, brown lash scents, onyx for the stripings, candlelight for the accents, onyx on my lips. I use a base of silk. Remember that you always want to start with a solid base. I hate to call it a primer, but I guess we can call it a primer. We always start with a solid base. $45 for your, I'm sorry, it's $55 for your silk. But this bottle's going to last you quite a while. Use a little bit morning before you put anything else on. Let it dry. It gives you a solid base. The silk pore minimizer and wrinkle reducer is absolutely a must under anything else that I do. Then the tinted moisturizer. Again, it is everywhere except for underneath what I knew I was going to paint, because it is not completely smudge proof. If I wanted completely smudge proof, I'd go with the Senegence foundation, which I haven't started using yet, for the simple fact that I really don't use that much makeup on a regular basis, except for when I'm going out and doing stuff, and then I'm doing a lot of this. So moisturizer, color tinted correcting, silk, these are mandatory. If you're going to be doing a lot of shadow senses, get yourself a bottle of Foops, $20. It's going to last you quite a while. And just like you saw over here, it takes those spots off. It takes the shadow sense off without rubbing your skin raw. A brush set, always a good idea. You can go to any beauty supply store and get yourself a very simple little brush set. I like this brush for the moisturizer, the tinted moisturizer, any foundations that I use. Eyeliner, I always use a brush that's got a little bit of a curve to it. It's an eyeliner brush. It's designed for eyeliner. It lets you hold your hand at a little bit lower level to where you can actually see what you're doing without hurting your eyes. It's also a very fine point, and it's really good. The fine points on the inside of the spots are just done with a craft brush. Very simple. Lips. I actually do those with the applicator on the Onyx. I put it on top and bottom just like I would lipstick, Senegence Lipsense. The only difference is once it's on, I go back with a tipped brush to get into the corners and make sure it's evenly on. And remember that when you put ShadowSense on your lips, you have to let it dry completely. ShadowSense is cream to powder. Your lips are naturally more moist than the rest of your face. You've got saliva and everything else going on. You have to let it dry completely before you do anything else to it. Before you put the icicle on it, I would suggest at a minimum you give it 20 minutes. No drinking or eating, talking minimal. Give it time. Remember though that once you give it that time, it's staying all day. You don't have to worry about it. So, any questions, any orders, anybody want to know anything about Senegence? I have silk in stock. I have moisturizers in stock, both the medium and the light color. I have the shadow removers in stock, the Foops remover. Oh, I also have the perfumes in stock. Anybody smelled the new perfumes? Oh my God, I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I love the purple color. Which is really weird for me, but it's Bloom, and I actually really like that one. I'm wearing that one today. I have pretty much anything you want. I have sunscreen. Guess what? This stuff is got the Cineplex in it. Cineplex actually helps rejuvenate your skin. We normally rejuvenate our skin every 28 days or something like that. The Cineplex, which is in most of the skincare line, actually helps rejuvenate your skin and get an entirely new set of skin every 14 days or something like that. This is an amazing product. Sunscreen that actually helps you look younger. Who would have thought? Most of the time it's such an oily thing, it's going to make you break out. But this is not. Questions, comments, concerns, anybody have anything that they want to say? If you have any questions, let me know. If not, we are open for orders. We are going to do a tax-free. So it's the cost of the product plus shipping unless you're local. If you're local, I'll just deliver it like I do most of the time. Otherwise, I can sign off. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Okay, then orders are open for the rest of the night. We will still do the tax-free. We will still do it with $2 shipping flat rate. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be here. If you are interested in actually seeing the product in person and you want to do a demo and actually try it on, I am going to be at the Port Orange Pavilion Farmers Market tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock to noon or 8 o'clock to 1, I forget. But we will be at the Port Orange Pavilion, myself and Elisa, and we will actually be available with product for you to try on yourself. Try on the Lipsense, see how long it lasts on you. Try on the product and see what you think. If you have any questions then, if you'd love to say, okay, this is the most amazing stuff in the world, and you want to start selling it, that will get you one of the biggest discounts you can possibly get. Minimum discount for a distributor is 20%. We go up to 50% discount. Can you imagine $25 at 50% off? That's all I pay for it, 50% off. So you guys think about it. If you have any desire to want to sell Senegens and you know people that are interested, hit me up. I will teach you how to be a distributor. If you are unsure about whether your people are really going to be interested or not, hit me up. We'll schedule a party. We'll show the product to your friends and family, the people you know, and you can find out for sure whether they're interested and whether you'd have people that are willing to back you up on it or not. And from there, we'll go forward and you can be a distributor or not. That's all up to you. This company has been amazing. Senegence offers a free car program. They offer free trips. The product, people, works. Where'd my napkin go? The product works. It's just a matter of trying it. You stop and think about a tube of lipstick being a starter kit being $55. When you think that tube of Lipsense, if you wear it daily, is going to last you 4 months. If you don't wear it daily, it's going to last you forever. That little bit of alcohol in there, that's keeping it from changing color. It's going to last forever. So, I am always here, always available. Let me know if you need anything, and I will say goodnight for now because I don't want to be online all night. I do have to get up in the morning to meet everybody at the Port Orange Pavilion. So please meet me there. We're going to have a great time. Elisa's going to be there, and so you get to meet Elisa, my upline. You're going to get to meet some amazing people. Farmers market, it's completely organic farmers market, so it's a great place to go get anything you need. They've got honey. They've got, it's a huge Port Orange Pavilion, Saturday morning, 8 to 1. I'll see you guys there. Love you. Good night, honeys.